You're telling yourself that you need to be fluent first. I want to tell you what I did my third month here in Spain with only a few weeks of lessons, a lot of charades, and Google Translate. I navigated the Spanish health system, scheduled the appointment, found the parking area, checked in at the machine, had a conversation at the front desk, all in Spanish. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. But it worked. That is one of the 5 things Americans have completely wrong about what it takes to make this move. I'm going to share what's not in a blog, not in a forum, not from anyone who actually lives here. If you're new here, I'm Robin. I moved to Spain from California at 51 with my husband and my 2 teenagers. And this is the honest version from someone who believed a lot of these things herself. And I found out I was completely wrong. So I'm telling you now so you don't spend more time waiting for a version of ready that just doesn't exist. Stay with me because I'm going to start with the one you're probably already arguing with and save the one that surprises people most for after. Myth number 1, you need to be fluent in Spanish before you arrive. You don't. You need just functional Spanish, basic vocabulary, definitely a willingness to try, and a phone with Google Translate, and a tolerance for those moments when words fail you completely. You're gonna look like a buffoon, and you resort to charades. But who cares? Everyone's completely fine with it. The Spaniards are so gracious. In California, the cost of saying something wrong was enormous. Being perceived as capable, competent, and together, that pressure was constant. I didn't even realize it. Here you attempt Spanish, you stumble, and then the response is almost universally warm. And not patient in a condescending way, but genuinely warm. The attitude towards someone making the effort is drastically different. You're not expected to arrive fluent, but you are expected to try. And trying is something you can do immediately. Your Spanish improves so much faster than you think when you use it at the local grocery store, the Mercadona, or you buy water at your gym. It gets to be fun when you remember how to say the right words in the right order. Immersion is the method. Arrival is step 1. What surprised me most about community here is something I genuinely did not expect. And I want to tell you about it now because you need to stop planning for a version of isolation that isn't coming. So myth number 2, you're going to be isolated and alone. If you're planning for it right now, stop. Don't build contingencies for loneliness that is just not going to come. I know because everyone asked me that before I moved. What about your community? What about your friends? How are you going to navigate all that and build new ones? The speed at which community builds here has nothing to do with luck and everything to do with a shared decision. When every person made the same international choice to move their family across the world on purpose, you already have something real in common before you have said a single word. It's not proximity, it's not habit, it's the actual decision. Your shared deliberate choice is the fastest foundation for real friendship I've ever encountered. Faster than college, faster than any workplace, faster than neighborhoods in California where I lived for several decades and never got past the surface. I have built some of the most genuine friendships of my adult life here. And I moved here knowing one, the isolation you're planning for is not coming. The third thing is the one I want to be most honest with you about. Because there is a nuance here that most content skips over, and I'm not going to skip it. Myth number 3, Spanish healthcare is inferior to American healthcare. Let me give you the data. According to the OECD, Spain's average life expectancy is 84 years. The United States is 79. 5 fewer years of life. Spain spends around $5,000 per person per year on healthcare. The US spends $15,000, nearly 3 times the cost. And if you are thinking about aging well, not just living long, but living well, Spain ranks in the top 10 countries in the world for healthy aging. The United States does not even rank in the top 10. Let me give you one moment that tells you everything. How simple it is. You walk into any pharmacy here, anyone, you hand them your prescription, they hand you your medicine back. That's it. 2 minutes. No ID, no insurance card, no needing to be in their system, no system to be in. The prescription tells them everything that they need. It's faster than getting a coffee at Starbucks. Now, I want to address the language concern directly because yes, the language gap is real. It lives in the public system. But here is what most content does not tell you. For most visas that Americans use to make this move, private healthcare insurance is not optional. It's a requirement. Full coverage, no co-payments, English-speaking providers. You will not be in the public system. You can't. The Costa del Sol has one of the highest concentrations of English-speaking physicians in Europe, not just Spain. They're dedicated expat clinics, 24-hour care specialists who see American patients every single day. The concern is real, but it is just not your concern. And private care here costs a fraction of what you're paying now for a system ranked much lower down in overall healthcare. If you're working through whether this is a practical sense for your specific situation, I created the Spain Clarity Guide. It's in the description, and it's a framework I built exactly for that. It's not a moving checklist. It's a thinking tool. It's free. And if this is the honest version you've been looking for, subscribe and like. That's how it finds the next woman that needs to hear what I'm sharing. The fourth one is the assumption I hear most from women who have visited Spain on vacation, and is the one and the most important ones to correct. Myth number 4. You've been here on vacation, you know it's gorgeous, but you're not sure the real version matches the tourist version. Let me give you one specific example that does. In California, my kids rode a standard school bus. Overcrowded, loud. If they didn't run when the end of school bell rang, they waited 30 minutes for the next one. In Spain, the school bus is a charter coach. Large, comfortable seats, cargo storage underneath. It takes the kids to the water parks on school trips. The annual cost? The same. And yes, that was the cost for a public school bus back in California is the same as a school bus here for international school. It's a completely different floor. Same investment. That is not an upgrade I paid extra for. That is the baseline here. And it shows up in the food, in the pace, in what ordinary Tuesday looks like here. You are changing the structure. And the structure here is just built differently. The fifth thing stops more women from moving than any other. And it is based on a number that almost everyone gets wrong. Myth number 5. You have this number in your head. The one you're waiting to hit before you let yourself look at this seriously. Think of it like leaving 2 hours early for a 30-minute drive. Fear set that number, not the math. That number is almost certainly wrong. You need a cost structure that works. The women I have spoken to who have made this move successfully are not all independently wealthy. They are not all on pensions. They are not all retired. They have found a way to build a life here that costs significantly less than the life they left while being structurally better in almost every category that actually determines how you feel day to day. I'm not telling you it is free. I'm telling you the number in your head, the one you're waiting to hit before you let yourself take this seriously, is almost certainly higher than it needs to be. And the gap between where you are and where you could actually be is probably smaller than you think. What being wrong about all 5 of these things look like? It looks like stumbling through Spanish at the pharmacy and having the pharmacist meet you halfway. It looks like people you have known for 6 weeks showing up to help you move boxes. It looks like realizing that the healthcare system you were afraid of gives you 5 more years at a third of the cost. Looks like your kid's boarding a charter coach for the same annual cost as the yellow, overcrowded school bus. And it looks like realizing the number you were waiting to hit was higher than it needed to be. And it looks like most mornings, not every morning, but most of them waking up glad you stopped waiting for ready to arrive on its own. If you want to know what it actually feels like to live here in Spain, check out this video. It goes into detail on it. And if you want the thinking framework I built for deciding whether this kind of life is actually right for you, the Spain Clarity Guide is in the description, and it's a starting point, not a moving checklist. It's a clarity tool. Leave me a comment. Which one of these did you most need to hear? I read everything. Subscribe if this is the honest version you've been looking for. That's how it finds the next woman who needs to hear it. See you next Sunday.